Alright, what is going on, guys? I wanted to make a part 2 to reasons why I'm not really a fan of GM cars. I'm actually sitting in the Buick Verana, which is one of my favorite cars. But, open this up. I just wanted to do a quick, like a part 2, so more reasons why I'm not really a GM fan. Let's start off with the GMs that I do like. I guess we'll mention some of those again. I like a lot of the older GM stuff. You know, the old classic muscle cars. Camaros are cool. You know, Oldsmobile, the 442s, and you know, you got the Firebirds and all that stuff. I really enjoy those cars. They're really cool cars. I like the 80s GM stuff. You know, like the Knight Rider, like the 80s Trans Am. That's a cool car. You know, then you got like Smokey the Bandit Trans Am. That's a cool car. I like the IROC Camaros. I used to not like them, but as I've gotten older, I've appreciated the IROC style Camaros a lot more. But I really feel in the 90s, that's when GM really started to... Their quality really went kind of bad in the 80s. That's when their quality got kind of bad. But actual cars itself, they still, in my opinion, built cool cars in the 80s. Now, they had a lot of garbage in the 80s, too. They had like the Vega was at the 70s. They had the Chevy Citation. That was like late 70s or 80s. I know it was definitely 80s. May have been the late 70s into the 80s. But GM's had a lot of bad cars in the 80s. That's fine. They all did. Ford had a lot of bad cars, and so did Chrysler. You know, Dodge and stuff. But in my opinion, where Chevy really started, well, GM really started to go downhill, I'd say was really the later 90s. Probably like, I'd say from 95 to present, really like mid 90s to late 90s. That's when GM kind of started to lose their touch, at least in my opinion. That's when they got rid of the Caprice, the Chevy Caprice, which was a great car. I know they changed their truck styles in like early 2000s, I think. They weren't making the profits they were making. They were changing a lot. I forget when they went bankrupt. They went bankrupt in like 04 or 05 or something. I actually forget when they went bankrupt. So if you know, let me know, because I actually forget. But it was that was like kind of near the end for GM until, you know, they got bailed out, and here they are now. I don't know. I just don't like their brand. I don't like what GM ended up becoming. I feel like GM can't design cars. All their cars always look boring to me. They just don't look good. Look when they came out with the Camaro in the 90s, when they got, you know, after the 4th gen IROC, or what, I don't know what generation it is. I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about GM stuff. Like I said, I'm not really a huge GM guy, but whatever generation the IROC Camaro was, the age Camaros, they came out with the next generation. I mean, maybe you like it. If you like it, good for you. But, like, I know me personally, I don't like those Camaros at all. I don't think they look good. Remotely look good at all. I think they look ugly as hell. They're like there's no design. There's nothing cool looking about those generation Camaros. They just look plain and boring. And then they stopped making them in, like, 04 or whatever, you know, whatever it was. I don't even remember. GM just can't design a car. They always just look boring, plain. There's no little cool styling points. They're just boring cars. I mean, GM makes cool cars that are fast and stuff, but their looks, they just never get the looks right. I feel like they design things poorly sometimes. Like my Oldsmobile, for example, where they put the battery in that car is beyond stupid. Not like they put the battery in the corner fender, not like in the fender like one of the Chrysler Circus, where they actually put the battery in. You have to actually take the fender off to change the battery, which that's the worst spot for battery, I think, in like automotive history. But for my car, they put the battery in like the corner of the engine bay right by the fender, which is fine if you had top posts. But instead, what they do is they give you front posts, which I don't like front post batteries myself, but whatever. And you can't get a ratchet or anything on it to get it off. You gotta like like a little ratchet. It's like, why would you put a battery in a corner and then put the post facing into like the crash frame, whatever it's called, right up front. You can't even work on it. It's like impossible to change the battery in that thing. It's a pain in the ass. You can't even jump start it. If it's dead, it takes literally like a half hour to try to get a good connection to jump start it. It takes like a half hour. I'm not joking. Like legit, they get ordered to get a good connection on there. Unless you have jumper cables that are small enough. But the ones that I have, they're kind of like bulky. It takes me like a half hour to try to jump that Oldsmobile if the battery's dead. So, you know, dumb design there. I'm sorry. And GM just does a lot of stuff like that. When you like work on their cars or you see what they do, sometimes they just do really stupid designs. Now I know I know every manufacturer do stupid designs. Ford's, everyone. Toyota does stupid designs. Everyone does. I feel like GM is the most consistent with their stupid designs. If Ford does 3, GM's doing 7 or 8. So that's just one thing that I don't like. I don't like how they design things a lot of times. I don't like their engineering. And coming into that, I'm going to talk about the brand new Chevy Blazer that they have coming out. Or actually, it may even be out. If you look at the Chevy Blazer, they have completely ruined that nameplate. They made it like another crossover, weird-looking vehicle, like the other 3 crossovers they already have. They have like the Equinox. They have the GMC Acadia, which is they smalled down. It's kind of like a crossover. It's still like an SUV, but it's almost like a crossover. It's kind of small now. They have like 3 different crossovers or 4 different crossovers. They have like the Trax or something like that. I forget. I don't even know what they have. They brought back the Blazer, and I was like, oh, cool, the Blazer's coming back, awesome. And then they made it look like an SUV Camaro. What were they thinking? Why would you bring back the Blazer nameplate and then make it a crossover? I don't think it's even available in 4-wheel drive. I think it's either like front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Like, this is what I'm talking about, why I don't like GM. Stupid. It's stupid. Seriously. It's stupid. That new Blazer is beyond stupid. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how well it's even going to sell. They're probably going to discontinue it in a few years. Because they already have so many crossovers as it is. Unless they keep that and discontinue their other ones, they don't need to have 4 different crossovers and to sell at the same exact time. And things like this is what GM does that gives them poor car sales. Because they put so many different crossovers, so many different cars, they like compete with themselves. When they used to have all their brands, when they used to have every, you know, Oldsmobile, Buick, your Cadillac, you know, Chevy, Plymouth, you know, when they had everything, Pontiac, I think I said Pontiac. When they had everything, they would build the same car on the same platform, which, yeah, saves you money. But they didn't make them different. They just rebadged them all. It's not like they made the Pontiac cooler or anything. A lot of times they just make them all the same. And then, like, most people are going to buy a Chevy over Pontiac. They didn't make Pontiac stand out like their own. They didn't do their own thing. Like, they just competed with each other. That's like me running a business, and then I open up different divisions in my business, and I'm trying to, like, outsell my different divisions. No, you want to make each division special. You want to make it cool, unique, something that makes you want to go to that division compared to another section. You know what I mean? GM does that all the time. They compete with themselves, and they lose sales for themselves because they can't run their company. They're idiots. Another thing that they do, what was I going to say? I'm sorry, I just woke up a little while ago. What was I? Let's continue talking about their design on vehicles. Their new pickup trucks, for example. Perfect example, their new pickup trucks. If you've seen the new ones, I actually kind of like them more than the previous generation. I know everyone's hating on the brand new pickup trucks. I like them more than the previous generations. I still don't like them at all. I'd never buy one. But I actually think they look better than what they were. So, but Chevy pickup trucks, they have been garbage since the 90s. After whatever generation it was, 96 or 7, whatever those old, like, OBS Chevys are, those pickup trucks, anything before that, they're all good. Like the old K10s and stuff, those trucks are great. Nice trucks. The new ones, though, I am sorry. I don't care what anyone says. There's no convincing me. Those trucks are straight garbage. They cannot build a pickup truck. They make trucks with an independent front suspension on their 2500s and their 3500s, which is stupid, which is another stupid GM design. We'll get into that in just a second. And they make square wheel wells. Square wheel wells. So they put a wheel which is round, it's circular, it's supposed to spin and move your vehicle. And then they make the wheel well for it a box, a square. Now, last time I checked, what's the saying? A square peg's not going to fit in a round hole? Well, in GM's case, they're putting a round hole in a square peg. They're doing it the opposite. It makes no sense why you make the wheel wells square. It's only on their pickup trucks. I don't think they do it on any other car besides their pickup trucks. So when you want to lift them, when people buy lift kits, which a lot of people do for pickup trucks, that's why people are buying trucks, because that's kind of like the thing now. Buying a truck, you can do whatever with it, you can lift it, have fun with it. That's like what everyone's doing. GM is giving you square wheel wells, so when you want to lift and put bigger tires on, you either A, have to run a really small tire on a big lift kit, which doesn't look right, or completely hack up the inside of your fenders. So you're buying a brand new truck and then you have to hack your fenders because they gave you square wheel wells. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. It's not. It's a terrible idea. It's stupid. So that just, you have the independent front suspension on there, which I get it. The trucks ride nicer. But you know what? I've been in both. I've been in F-250s with the solid front axle, and I've been in Chevys, the 2500s or even 3500s with the independent. I got news for you. It doesn't really ride that much better. It really doesn't. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't make it ride that much better. It's not worth it. They're more of a pain in the ass to align compared to a solid front axle. Solid front axles are much easier to align. And it makes it less capable off-road. Makes it harder to lift. It just makes it more difficult to do anything cool with the truck. Can't off-road it, makes it more difficult. Can't lift it, makes it more difficult. Can't put a bigger tire because they have square wheel wells and makes it difficult. Why does anyone even want to buy a Chevy truck? It sounds like a pain in the ass just to even make it look cool. Because the GM doesn't make it look cool from the factory, I'll tell you that. They're boring, their cars. They don't add cool colors a lot of times. What's the coolest color GM's had recently? Kryptonite green? Where are the colors at? They don't even have colors for their cars. They're just boring. They all look plain Jane. Look when they came out with the GTO. You know, when they revived the GTO for Pontiac went out. It looked like a freaking neon. It was just a regular, just didn't look like anything special. How are you going to revive a GTO nameplate and make it look like that? I don't know. It just, these are the things why I don't like GM cars. And then like, I look at this car and I just see that the things wrong with it. And I'm just like, after all these years, after 30 years, they still just can't seem to get it right. I don't understand. It's amazing to me that they're even in business. It really is. And their sales are kind of showing it. Their trucks, as of this year, 2019, their truck sales have gone down. They're getting beat by Ford, which they always have. I'm pretty sure Ford has always outsold GM in their pickup trucks. And they're also getting beat by Chrysler now. So Chrysler's really picked up their game, you know, with the Dodge Ram and stuff. Or actually, Ram, they made it their own brand, which I think is stupid too, but, you know, they're getting beat. They're just getting beat by people. What's the coolest truck they have right now? Like the Colorado ZR1 or whatever with the snorkel on it and stuff? Or I don't think he has a snorkel, but like the Baja looking truck. It's a cool little truck, I'll admit. It's not that bad. Once again, it has square wheel wells. What's like the biggest tire you can run on it? 33s maybe? Without completely hacking your fenders up? It's stupid. It just, I'm sorry. Why you design a pickup truck with square wheel wells? I don't know. That's pretty much my rant. I could probably make a part 3 because there's still more I could even talk about. But I mean, as it is, you're probably not even watching this video at this point. But I don't know. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of GMs. Their Camaros aren't selling. They're going to be probably discontinuing that soon. How can you not be selling Camaros? Because Ford's selling Mustangs like hotcakes, and so is, you know, Chrysler. They're selling the Dodge Challenger and Charger like they're going out of style. But somehow GM manages to not even find a customer for a Camaro. So, I don't know. that's just my little rant, my part 2 why I don't like GM cars. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.